Thank you very much, Dave and Sadie. Good evening from just outside Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Not too bad out here tonight, actually. This place last year for Michigan was magical. They had two buzzer beaters to advance to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. We know about their magic last week in the Big Ten tournament, winning the title. The magic continuing today against Oklahoma State. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this afternoon. Michigan started kind of slow, actually, but then really heated up in the second half, going 11 of 15 from the three-point line. Derek Walton Jr. hit 5 of those in the second half. They actually had 16 threes, a school tournament record. Walton finishing with 26 points, 4 Wolverines in double figures. The Cowboys made it a little interesting late, but Michigan advances with a 92-91 win, and still with that same perspective from last week, they're going to enjoy this one.
That embrace every opportunity you have, because it's a tremendous to be playing at Michigan, be playing in the tournament, to be able to advance. Man, this just doesn't happen to teams. Embrace it.
Those are memories you have for your entire life, and it's not worth it to just to be too serious right now. You gotta enjoy it.
At the end of the day, it's just basketball. We're out there having fun. All of us like to show with a lot of emotion, especially myself. So, we're just trying to go out there and have fun.
Having a lot of fun. So Michigan, after winning 4 games in 4 days last week, they're going to enjoy that day off tomorrow. Michigan State also in action tonight in Tulsa, Oklahoma, taking on 9 seed Miami. Don't forget, they have some bad memories from the NCAA tournament last year, losing to Middle Tennessee State, which wasn't very good as they were a 2 seed. But Tom Izzo made a good point. They don't have bad memories because most of the guys from last year are gone, leaving this group of freshmen to grow up, make some new memories. Izzo's been a little more blunt about it.
Made the comment that these young guys, were just taking off the diapers, and somebody sent me a dozen diapers, and thank you. And it is time to take them off. They're guys now that have been through a lot of wars, and the young guys I think have improved in a lot of ways.
For the Big Ten tournament, it's teams that we've seen before, but now in the NCAA tournament, it's teams that we haven't seen before that we don't know much of. But it's still one and done time, so we got to play every game like it's our last.
My shirt is good.
That tip tonight a little after 9. We'll have much more tonight at 10 and 11 from right here in Indianapolis as well. Reporting live here from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indy, I'm Tom Eschen. Good evening, everybody, from just outside Bankers Life Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis. Kind of nice out here today. It was a little damp inside. We'll show you why that was just a second ago with John Beilein. He had a super soaker in the locker room today. One of the many celebrations they've had over this magical last few days. Didn't look so magical as you just saw. Michigan was down 9, and then they got angry heading into this locker room in the second half.
Is it just angry that we didn't make the plays that we know we should have made? And, I left some points on the table, just being mad at myself. But, letting that go and just realizing it's still a team game, man.
Kind of the phrase that we had going was, why not us? And, we were down early, right before that half. But to bounce back and, just rely on each other was huge.
I just said that to Coach Beilein. We only shot 6 threes today, and we won. So it's awesome. We play gritty basketball, and I think we can be proud of that.
A team that's not as experienced or doesn't have the poise that we had would come back and try and win it all right away. And we won every 4-minute period until we got ahead in the game. And just by playing in those little increments made a big difference.
You really got to love John Beilein and that super soaker in the after the game. It was pretty fun to see just the wetness in the locker room. You can see it all over the ceiling, everywhere else. Later on tonight at 10 and 11, I'll tell you when they started to believe that this Sweet 16 run was possible. But for now, reporting live here in Indianapolis, I'm Tom Eschen. Good evening here from Indianapolis, Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The team's getting their work in on the court today. Michigan was out here earlier, and you could sense that same bounce in their step they had last week during the Big Ten tournament, that new perspective they had on life, really, after their plane skidded off the runway in Ypsilanti. And that's the question they got a lot of times here this afternoon, just about what happened in that plane crash, how it galvanized them to make that run that many didn't see coming. But John Beilein, when he was asked about it, said he saw this coming, and it's been happening for a couple weeks now.
First of all, we were really playing good basketball the whole month of February. It wasn't, I hear 8th seed. Well, we were tied for 5th, and it was a crazy tiebreaker, and we were like a game out of 2nd or 3rd. So it wasn't this crazy story that all of a sudden this 8 is being this 1. So it wasn't like this Cinderella story. What made it Cinderella was the circumstance. It wasn't just skidding off the runway. It was a full-blown 150 miles an hour. We can't stop. There's that one play in a game that can change a season. Couple that with what happened on last Wednesday, and I think it was just a little bit extra that we needed.
You know, we avoided something that could have been tragic, and you know, something that happened in our life, and it brought us a lot closer. And like I said, we was there for a reason. That happened for a reason, and the way we responded to it, I was very proud of it, and it's one of those memories that will, you know, stay with me for the rest of my life.
The guys reiterating they had trouble just getting back on the plane to get back to D.C. last week, which probably made playing a lot easier. Gets a little harder now in the NCAA tournament, but I'm sure they'll still carry that same bounce in their step as they take on Oklahoma State tomorrow afternoon. Good evening from Bankers Life Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis. What changed for the Michigan basketball team this year? Well, you actually have to go to last year to figure that out. Coach Beilein told his players at one point this season, making the NCAAs last year, that first 4 game they won against Tulsa, falling in the round of 64 to Notre Dame, was one of the best and one of the worst things that happened to them, since they got a little complacent coming into this year, thinking they had everybody back, they would do great. So the first couple of weeks of the season, they were a little inconsistent. Well, the game against Illinois happened where they were called white collar, and they found that chip on their shoulder.
Everyone really had that mindset, oh, we made it last year, we got everyone coming back, you know, we'll just easily get to the tournament, and it wasn't that way. You know, we had to make changes with our offense and our defense in order to get in, and I think once guys really bought into that, like you've seen, it changed our season.
We were somewhat content in the fact that, you know, since we made it last year, we had so many guys returning that automatically would just be back there, and I think we kind of realized early on that if we were going to have that mentality, it wasn't going to work, and that's kind of when we started to flip the switch and just have a little bit more sense of urgency, and I think that's been the difference in our season.
We kind of just coasted a little bit throughout the season, and then we finally found a point where we just started to click, I think
we took it personal, and I'm not scared to say that. I think we took it personal, and we took it upon ourselves to kind of just make it known that we're not that type of team, and I think we've shown that over the second half of the year.
And these kids got themselves going, and I didn't, you know, they realized it themselves that there was another level all of them had to have, and they couldn't have it from one game to the next. They had to have it game in, game out.
Later on tonight, we'll discuss how a championship game with Louisville a couple years ago still is on these players' minds heading into this one tomorrow afternoon. Reporting here from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, I'm Tom Eschen.
We're playing against the Golden State Warriors on Sunday, so it's I watched the second half, I've never seen shooting like that since I've been a coach.
Louisville head coach Rick Pitino said it like playing the Golden State Warriors, and Michigan kind of shot like them today too. That in the second half they went 11 for 15 from the three-point line. Derek Walton Jr., he had 26 points. 5 of those threes came in the second half for him. They hit 16 threes as a team, a school tournament record.
We had a stretch in the second half where like we just rattled them off, and I didn't know. I was like 4, 5, 6 maybe in a row. I don't even know.
It's just the mindset and the trust that these guys have in me. It's, you know, it makes me, you know, go out and just, you know, play much more free, just knowing they have a lot of confidence in me.
I couldn't keep track. I didn't realize that we made more threes than we did two. So I don't know. 3's more than 2, so I guess that's a good thing.
And you could hear the guys coming into the locker room after their game saying first 1 to 90. Well, they were the last 1 to 90 with the win today. Something they've been able to do is win a lot of different ways this year. Something that's really going to bode well for their future games on Sunday against Louisville, a very different team.
It's very helpful right now down the stretch. We've been there before. We know what to do. The trust in each other is even bigger than the beginning of the season, so I think that's very helpful.
You know, I think that anytime that we play teams that we don't know well, and then they come at you, and you say, okay, they play good basketball outside our league, I think that was helpful.
Maybe one of the most important things is that tomorrow they kind of have a day off. After winning 4 games in 4 days in D.C. for the Big Ten tournament, they get a day off now between this game and their next one, something they're looking forward to quite a bit.
I'm going to enjoy it. I know we're going to go out to dinner, a nice dinner, I think St. Elmo's, so I know that'll be a lot of fun, right? Get a nice steak. But then, you know, tonight we got to get right back to it.
So they'll enjoy tonight and their day off as well, but they do have practice on Saturday. We'll be there for that and talk to them about Louisville, their next matchup, and how different they are from Oklahoma State. But as you can tell, Rick Pitino, Louisville's head coach, a little concerned about Michigan and the way they've been shooting these past few weeks and now even months for the Michigan Wolverines. Reporting here from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, I'm Tom Eschen.
Tom Eschen is live right now in downtown Kansas City. Good evening, Tom.
Thank you very much, Dave. Good evening, everybody. Here we are, just outside the Sprint Center where the game's going to be played tonight. Little challenge for our photojournalist, Mike Horn here. Find some Michigan maize and blue among all this blue. A lot of Kansas out here just as we get ready for the game here coming up here at 7:09 tonight. We know this run the team's been on. Here, Mike, take a look here. What do you got? Any Michigan fans out there? There's some. We know there's some in Kansas City. They've kind of been along for the ride with these Michigan teams so far. We talked to them earlier today.
I thought they'd be shooken up, like against Illinois, after the plane crash, and I was really nervous about how we'd end up doing, but they ended up doing very good.
Yeah. Well, as a season ticket holder for a long time, I think I've learned a couple things. One is never doubt Beilein, because he's definitely come through. And then secondly, don't give up, because honestly, after that Ohio State game where they lost, I thought this wasn't the team I was expecting. And actually, since then, even before the Big Ten tournament, they've been playing great. You believe they're here?
No, I don't. But I'm happy.
See, the Michigan fans that are here are happy to be here now. We know that plane running off the runway was something that gave them a little bit extra of a boost, but there's also something else that's boosted them on the court as well. Coach Beilein, back in February, he brought them that Super Bowl catch that Julian Edelman made for the New England Patriots, the one where he dangled it right above the ground, and he told them that's the kind of stuff they need to win games like this.
The difference isn't much, guys, but if you all give a little bit more, right? And the point with the Super Bowl catch was that Elon didn't, he just made that, he willed that catch. And we have to will stuff to happen, and you have to work hard.
I just feel like we strung together a couple games, and it was about luck. It just, it's coming in with the exact same focus every single game, and had the same type of laser-like focus that's helped us get to this point. So it's all about maintaining at this point.
They've maintained a really high level of play now for a long time. They're hoping to keep that up tonight. Of course, we'll be back here later on tonight at 10 and 11 with a recap. We'll be in the locker room, let them know. Maybe it's a win, maybe it's a loss. We'll see what happens here at 7:09 in Kansas City. Reporting live here from downtown Kansas City, Missouri, I'm Tom Eschen. Thank you very much, Corey. Good evening, everybody, once again from Kansas City. It was just such a close game, so exciting. Went down to the last shot. The senior Derek Walton Jr. said he makes thousands of those shots every single day. Couldn't fall tonight. And Michigan's run is really what March Madness is all about, isn't it? The way they came together as a team during the Big Ten tournament and then ended up going on to the NCAA tournament, making it through those first couple rounds. But at the same time, when you see him walk out of the locker room, there's the downside. The margin of error is just so thin, and we kind of saw that with this Michigan team tonight. And unfortunately, the ball didn't go their way.
There's been seasons where I go into games and I think, boy, we may have reached as far as we can go, and I didn't feel that today. I felt we're going to win this game, right? We're going to continue to advance because we're a really good team.
Still times I think I could have gave more, and I just in my personal growth, but he gave me the opportunity to lead, and for that I'm forever grateful.
I think people watching, you saw everyone playing as hard as they could, especially Derek and myself, just two seniors that didn't want their season to end. We were playing so hard for our team and for each other.
Well, losing always sucks. That it's over, man. This is a great team. This is a family, and with all we've been going through, I'm just sorry for the seniors.
Yeah, what a one it really was, and we're going to see more from this team next year, I'm sure. And in the next couple of days, we'll kind of break down what happened in this game as well as what impact those seniors made on this program. Reporting live here from Kansas City, right in front of the Power and Light District here, I'm Tom Eschen. Thank you very much, Corey. Good evening, everybody. Once again from Kansas City. You can see the Power and Light District behind me. I know Michigan wasn't that great, but the lights are nice. Isn't that great? This Michigan team, on this road they've been on, from Kansas City to Indianapolis and more, just everything you love about March Madness. The seniors leading this team, gritty, Derek Walton Jr. and Zach Irvin. It's been such a fun ride they've been on. Just everything we loved about this month of March and February, winning the Big Ten tournament and all, but there's just always that downside. The margin of error is just so thin. And we saw that downside as they left the court today after that tough loss, 69-68 to Oregon. They just came so close to advancing to that Elite Eight game against Kansas or Purdue, who are playing right now. We got to hear from Coach Beilein, who said they're pretty close to a win, and just we heard from the players in the locker room after you could hear their disappointment.
There's been seasons where I go into games and I think, boy, we may have reached as far as we can go. And I didn't feel that today. I felt we're going to win. We're going to win this game, right? We're going to continue to advance because we're a really good team.
Still times I think I could have gave more, and I just, in my personal growth, but he gave me the opportunity to lead, and for that I'm forever grateful.
I think people watching, you saw everyone playing as hard as they could, especially Derek and myself, just two seniors that didn't want their season to end. We were playing so hard for our team and for each other.
Well, losing always sucks. That it's over, man. This is a great team. This is a family, and with all we've been going through, I'm just sorry for the seniors.
It was just a night where the ball didn't bounce their way. A disappointing finish. Much more to come on this game in the coming days as well. Reporting live here from Kansas City, I'm Tom Eschen. Back to you, Corey. Good morning from just outside the Sprint Center here in Kansas City. Tough to see a run that was so magical for the Michigan Wolverines, and 69-68 here in the Sweet 16. And they were really led the last few weeks of the year by their seniors, Zach Irvin and Derek Walton Jr. You could just see the determination on Walton's face as we reach these last few games of the season. One that resulted in so many wins and definitely the respect of the rest of the guys.
They left a great legacy. They've been to plenty of NCAA tournaments, won like 5+ games in NCAA tournaments, which is big. Not a lot of people do that. Big Ten championship, so they left their mark at the University of Michigan.
How to bring it every single day, first and foremost, and 5 guys who were looking at their last season of college basketball and how they approach their work, and leaving nothing in the tank, and I think that's an invaluable lesson.
The way they carried us, the way they stepped up, even though they were leaders already, they stepped up in their roles. That's something you don't get that often.
It's tough, especially for us seniors. This was our last game in a Michigan jersey. Like I said, it's unfortunate that our season ended earlier than we wanted it to, but this is a great bunch. Next year they'll be hungrier than ever.
It's hard to think that we don't have film after this, or a game Saturday, but overall, you just the way I believe in my faith to say, I'm just things happen for a reason.
For those seniors and some of the other guys, it was still too fresh of a wound to really look back and appreciate what they did, but they said eventually in the next couple of days and coming weeks they'll say that, yeah, they did something pretty special this year for the Michigan Wolverines basketball program. Thank you very much, Bill. Good evening, everybody from Kansas City. Unfortunately, I don't have any good news for you tonight. Michigan falling to Oregon in the Sweet 16, 69-68. It was one of those games that you thought with this magical run that they could win. It came down to the very last possession. Derek Walton Jr., the senior, has been playing out of his mind the last few weeks, had the last shot, and it was one of the few that he's missed all year long. We just got out of the locker room. Obviously, the guys just disappointed with the way this magical run has ended. Here are the seniors, Zach Irvin and Derek Walton Jr.
It was just a very selfless group, and I had the joy of being a part of it and being one of the leaders. So like I said, I just wish we could have more games to play together, because I think a couple minutes throughout the game we didn't show the type of team we were destined, not destined to be, but becoming. And overall, just really thank them for allowing me to be a part of such a great team.
We're very close-knit. We're just playing our best basketball. We really didn't want the season to end, but this team had a lot of great memories. We battled through adversity, and it's just a team that I'll always remember.
Boards, you'll hear from John Beilein, who says he even thought they were going to win this game. You're really going to want to hear from him and more of the players in the locker room as well. Reporting live here from Kansas City, I'm Tom Eschen, Fox 66 News.
Tom, wish we had better news than that. Kept you on the road a little bit longer, but it's time to come home. Thanks for your coverage. Have a safe trip back.
Thank you very much, Dave. About mid-80s. The first pitch today was 88 degrees, so an enjoyable afternoon. The Tigers lost, so it wasn't that great, but I'm going to show you in a couple minutes, because they got checkers out here because it's sunny and nice outside, how the Tigers' starting rotation is a lot like a game of checkers this year. What roles they'll play coming up next.
Tom Eschen is with the team in Florida this week. He's live in Lakeland right now, giving you a first-hand look at what to expect this season. Tom?
Thank you very much, Dave. Good evening, everybody, from Lakeland once again. Joker Marchant Stadium, as I mentioned, warm temperatures all week long. There's just a few more days now for the Tigers left in Florida before they leave for the cold weather up there in Michigan. I heard the forecast doesn't look too pretty. But today was their last home game here at Joker Marchant Stadium. That means we got a good look at the starting lineup. Most of the regulars were in there, and Justin Verlander, their opening day starter, was on the mound as well. We got to see him for a few innings. He's been pretty consistent so far throughout the spring. Not especially sharp today, giving up 4 runs in 3 innings. He's been saying he's ahead of schedule, though, compared to last year, and hopes that can carry over.
I'm optimistic, but I think you can't ever just say, okay, I'm where I need to be. That's never really the case. It's it's time to turn the page on spring and get ready to go.
It was just kind of a tune-up, so he was really working on pitches more than anything, especially his slider.
So I mentioned the checkers earlier tonight. So if you can envision their starting rotation as a checkerboard here, this is Justin Verlander. He's got the opening day start. You got Michael Fulmer. He's going to be the starter on Tigers' home opening day. So they're both Kings. The rest we don't really know. 2, 3, and 5. You got Boyd, who might be the 5th starter. He might fit there, or he could compete actually for a 2nd or 3rd spot. Daniel Norris, he might fit in that 2nd spot. And then don't forget you have Jordan Zimmerman. So you have all these spots to fill, 5 spots, and you have 3 guys fighting for 2 spots at the top of the rotation. So as you can see, kind of complicated when Brett Ausmus is going to pen those lineups in towards the end of this weekend. We'll see what happens and keep you updated as we continue to update you here from Florida. Obviously, some nice amenities here at Joker Marchant Stadium. Rocking chairs and checkers. You got to love it, guys. Reporting here live from Florida, I'm Tom Eschen. Good morning from Tampa, everybody. Just about the mid-70s here. It's a little warmer than back home. The Tigers taking on the Yankees last night here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. And it was an exciting game, the final week of spring training for the Detroit Tigers. Michael Fulmer was on the mound for this game, and he had to make some adjustments, something as a second-year starter he's going to have to do all season long.
I hate to say it, but that's what spring training's for. So I'm trying to fit the pieces together. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that in the first inning. But once I kind of slowed myself down and stopped trying to do too much.
I was wondering how much you think that happened last year, too, over the course of the season, where you had to make those adjustments, and how that's going to help you this year.
I think I had to do it quite a bit last year, as far as pitching against division teams, and face them 3, 4, 5 times sometimes. So I think we did a good job last year of changing things up and trying to disguise how we get every batter out as far as the game plan. And I think it's just going to be more of that this year.
He's got a target on his back. People know who he is. He's not going to sneak up on anybody. He's going to have to adjust to the offense's adjustment to him. He's going to have to do his preparation, make sure he gets his work in.
And we'll get a glimpse of the opening day starter, Justin Verlander. Actually, today, they'll take on the Philadelphia Phillies in Lakeland. We'll be there. Tune in later tonight at 6 for a live recap. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. The Detroit Tigers playing their last game here at Joker Marchant Stadium for the spring. They got a couple more games to go, but because it was their last home game, we got a good glimpse of what the lineup and even Justin Verlander, their starting pitcher, will look like this season. And seeing as how they didn't make too many moves, we saw a lot of the same guys. Nick Castellanos is having a good spring. Verlander's had a pretty good spring as the team itself has been up and down. I was able to ask him if the team's mindset has changed since last year. Is this team a little more hungry, would you say? Is there more of a sense of urgency considering how close you came last year to making it?
I like the feeling that's going on in this clubhouse. I wouldn't say that anybody's more hungry per se. I think everybody in here wants to win, but you kind of brought the band back together, for lack of a better phrase. But I think everybody was pretty excited about that, so it's probably a little jolt to the system, and say, all right, let's go.
Now, the Tigers did lose to the Phillies today 8-2. It wasn't that pretty of a game, but as Brett Ausmus and a lot of the guys have been saying, is that it is still spring training. They're here to work on things, not necessarily see that performance come out until next week when Justin Verlander takes the hill on Monday against the White Sox on the road, and then that's Michael Fulmer on the mound on Friday in the home opener. Much more to come, and you'll hear from them here in the coming days as well.